Many times my mom used to tell me, like, she'll ask me, like, what did you want to be when you grow up? And I always said, I wanted to be a dad. I've always wanted to be a dad ever since I was a kid. My reason for wanting to be a dad was that, like, my own kid, someone that I love that will love me no matter what kind of deal. I wanted that kind of bond. And I felt that I'd never had that kind of bond. After my first child, it was scary. I had mixed emotions of joy and fear. Like, I kept having the fear of, like, am I going to be good enough? Am I going to be an awesome parent? Am I going to be a strict parent? Am I going to be a fun parent? What kind of parent will I be? How do I handle the situation if comes out need be if someone were to hurt my kids? I'm raising my daughters to be independent. I don't want them to feel they have to depend on another person. I feel it's a technique that's working so far. My biggest thing that I did with them, because I wanted to have trust, I would sing to my girls as they go to sleep. My favorite thing that I used to do with them is I would use their name as a little melody just to help them go to sleep. Or I would sing like ABCs type deal. There, in the sense of there was never a moment where I was not around. And I made sure that was my thing, is that I wanted to be in my kid's life every single step of the way. I was 25 years old when my dad entered my life again. My dad was nowhere to be found. Like, she gave me a chance when I was 16 to see if I want to meet up with him. I told her no. He just didn't care in the way how I saw it. My uncle from his side found my mom on Facebook and came over to visit. And he talked to me and said, you should go and reach out to your dad. For 23 years, my dad was MIA. It took me about like a couple months or so, but I decided to say, you know what? I'm older now. I'm not that same little kid. I'm gonna reach out to him. When I walked up to his doorstep and he opened the door, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I thought that we were gonna either have like some type of drama. That didn't happen. He had a huge grin on his face. Of course, he said, like, all right, I know that you probably have a lot of questions that you want to ask me. Feel free to ask me all your questions. I sat there for a minute and I was thinking, what's keeping you away? What is making you feel that you shouldn't have to wonder where your own son is, or even trying to figure out how he's doing? Like, I wanted to be very aggressive towards him. My mom's dad became that father figure, someone that I can look up to. And he did a good job on filling that void. When he passed away I was in 7th grade. And the last thing he said to me was, you should get a haircut. When he told me that I should get a haircut, it felt like a stab in the back. I was always, like, he was that role model to me. Like, that, the whole aspect of, it shouldn't care, like, I didn't care the way how he looked. I didn't care that, anything like that. So for him to heavily state to me on the dying day, because he died the day after that I should get a haircut, that implemented that he cared a lot about how I was presenting myself. It's not a sense of looking fresh. It's more feeling good about yourself. Doing something that's going to make you appreciate what you look like, how you feel. Now, at this time of being much older, I understand it a little bit more. He was trying to get me to grow up. The role models that I started to develop was my martial arts teacher. He saw the potential of me going farther in martial arts, and that lit so many light bulbs in my head. So I need to do more. I need to practice more. I need to do anything that I can to say, yeah, keep getting that cheer, that positive reinforcement. I liked it, and I felt that I was becoming weak because I was very vulnerable to someone else. And I kept, even though like I was trying to battle it, but subconsciously I needed it. So I felt that it was bad to accept approval from someone else. So I started out, like how fast I moved up in belt was that I was 3 belts less from a black belt before I was 17. The one thing I like to share is that for my martial arts teacher is that he did help me to try and control my own anger. Like whenever it came down to an actual fight that was like during like a competition, I took a really bad hit and I got really angry to go and punch the kid. But he actually pulled me to the side and said that I understand it hurts, but take a breath. It's only a competition. Don't allow your anger to get the best of you. Because if you let your anger get the best of you, you will lose. I ended up winning that same battle. When me and my father talked, he apologized and had a lot of remorse for the fact of not being around. He thought that something bad had happened, and then he didn't think I was alive still. I didn't get it, but that was what he told me. It feels awkward. Even though after reconnecting with him, it feels really awkward to talk with him. It just feels awkward. Like that's the best I can put it. This initial meeting did bring up more communications with him. I don't hang out with him a lot. Whenever it came down to like my daughter's birthdays and I brought it up to him, he has came. It's a very warm feeling to know that I'm not needing to rely on another person's approval. It's nice to have still, but I don't rely on it as much as I used to. With my mom being busy and my dad not in the picture, I didn't want my kids to have that same background that I grew up with. I come to terms with my father not really being around. Like, even though, yeah, he just came around and yeah, there's still a lot of things I could learn from him, but I don't have that burning desire to say I want to learn everything from him.
All right, Wesley, you're awesome. Let's give him a hand.
And I got the mask, you guys. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, you gotta get that on.